on everybody. So years ago, I put out a video. I think it was in 2018. I put out a video. It was called "Federal Government Dissolved in 1933." And if you actually look up "Federal Government Dissolved in 1933," you're going to come across some paperwork. Now, it has been heavily redacted since I came out and made these videos about it. For decades, it all said the same thing. And then recently they went through, they changed it. It said, the last time I looked at it, it said that it was updated in 2018. So if you go and look at that, there's a piece of information, a chunk of information that is missing. And basically, in a nutshell, literally, this is what it said. The American federal government has gone bankrupt. They have no more money left, and they are now going to rely on the Federal Reserve. Now, a lot of people get this mixed up. They all want to go back to 1917, 1919, 1923, 1927, and 1930. But no, it's 1933. There's a significance with the year and the date. You got to know how these people operate. If you don't understand the government and what the government is and why it was put in place and why things are done the way that they are, you just need to step back, take a look, research everything on the American government, research everything on governments in general. So the American government said that in order to stay in power, they must sign a declaration. The President of the United States must sign a declaration of war every year. And there were some congressional people that they were concerned, like, who are we going to be at war against every year? I mean, is this even going to be possible? Every year we have to sign a declaration of war against a country or something. Who are we going to be at war at? And the government, they said, oh, this one's easy. We're going to make it so that the United States citizens are our enemies. Because if they ever find out what we have been doing, we will be hanging by a tree. We will be hanging in a tree by morning. Okay? We will be hanging in a tree by morning. Now I'm going to go through my videos. I'm going to try to find the videos that I did concerning this, because all the information is in those videos. This was before it was heavily redacted. But you have someone called Edward Snowden who knows all about the NSA and all this stuff, and he's been trying to tell people for years about what's going on and different laws and different acts that have been posted and implemented into place and stuff like that. So there's so much going on with the American government that they have the American people bamboozled, and they all think that their vote counts, which it doesn't. There's nobody ever elected. They're all selected. Again, I could get into on the whole thing of, dude, they're all related, but one president is all related. They're all secret society members. When we get to choose, when we get to vote, we get that opportunity to vote. Look at who we're stuck with: Donald Trump, Joe Biden; Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's two of the worst case scenarios you'd ever want to vote for. It's picking the lesser of two evils, is literally what it is. Now I want to tell you guys to go watch this over on Intervision. Edward Snowden Cries. Watch this before it's deleted. This dude he's coming out and he's telling you guys about all of the propaganda that's been put in place for decades. And the American people, they're just, I don't know, man. Are they too gullible to find out? Are they not intelligent enough to actually sit down and listen and comprehend what is going on, instead of just getting out there and hating on everybody? Oh, you're a Democrat, I hate you. Oh, you're a Republican, I hate you. And what the people don't get is that the American government, Republican, Democrat, liberal, right-winger, left-winger, they're all in on it together. They can say that they're not, But they all have to be in on it together to make this work. Okay? They got to make it work. It's got to be functional for their benefit. So let's catch the last minute and a half of what Edward Snowden is saying and see if people catch on to why things are the way that they are today with the new 150,000 armed IRS agents who are willing to use deadly force to audit someone's taxes. You need deadly force to audit taxes? Come on, man, they're taxes. You're going to audit taxes and you need to use deadly force. And you got to get 150,000 new IRS agents. And supposedly they're only going after the upper echelon of the elites, which there's only 700 billionaires around, right? So you need 150,000 armed militia members or something. I don't know, dude. They're the IRS. The IRS is basically the mafioso, the police force for the Federal Reserve, which has literally nothing to do with the federal government. It's crazy. So let's watch this and see if it all makes sense. Now that you guys know the federal government dissolved in 1933, we don't live in a democracy. It's a Republic of America. And if you say the Pledge of Allegiance, you will explain it to yourself. So just say the Pledge of Allegiance. Not that you have to believe it or whatever, but for one republic for which it stands, republic, it's not a democracy. They're trying to get you guys to change everything on your own before they go and change the laws to make it a democracy and run a dictatorship over you. You guys have to understand, it is no longer government of the people, for the people, by the people. It is not that. I don't think it has ever been that. I think they bamboozled people from the door. I mean, I could go into a bunch of things, but I'm not going to, so here we go.
I want all your listeners, right, to go to the Washington Post, because this document that I discovered that really changed me has been published, courtesy of the Washington Post. It's called the Inspector General's Report on Stellar Wind. And you can look at the actual document that I saw that was unredacted, right? I had no blacked out pages on mine. And what I believe it shows is that some of the most senior officials in the United States, elected and unelected, worked together to actively undermine the rights of the American people to give themselves expanded powers. Now, in their defense, they said they were seeking these powers for a good and just and noble cause, right? They say they were trying to keep us safe. But that's what they always say. That's what every government says. That's no different than what the Chinese government says or the Russian government says. And the question is, if they are truly keeping us safe, why wouldn't they simply just tell us that? Why wouldn't they have that debate in Congress? Why wouldn't they put that to a vote? Because if they were, and they could convince us that they were, they'd win the vote. And particularly, we all know, like the Patriot Act passed, one of the worst pieces of legislation in modern history passed. Why didn't we get a vote? And I think if you read the report, the answer will be clear.
The answer would be quite clear if you read the report. But see, a lot of Americans don't like to read. They just like to get on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, YouTube, and get all their information from there and just see what the masses are saying so they could jump in, get on that bandwagon, and ride along with the masses thinking that they know something. But they're jumping on the bandwagon that leads to their own demise. And they're too ignorant to jump off the bandwagon and listen to people who are telling them you're on the bandwagon to your own demise. They don't want to listen. They want to go with these TikTok influencers, these YouTube influencers who tell you to go out and play in the street. They want to listen to these influencers that call themselves auditors that go out and piss off cops just so you have a rougher time the next time you're pulled over. They get these people out here that call themselves sovereign citizens. You're not Indian, bro. You have a birth certificate and a social security card which registers you to the public. You're not sovereign. There are sovereign people out here. Every Indian in America is sovereign. But see, Americans don't believe that because Americans have been told to believe something different. Americans are slaves. All the slaves laugh at the people that want to consider themselves sovereign citizens. They are fed up with the unjust rules, unjust laws, unjust regulations, unjust mandates, unjust requirements, unjust protocols, unjust policies. They're fed up with all that. They want to get out of the beast system, but yet all the slaves laugh at them because they're claiming that they are a sovereign citizen, and the slaves know they cannot be sovereign citizens because they are slaves. They just don't want to admit that they are slaves. Now, they can deny that they are slaves all they want and say that they live in America, land of the free, home of the brave. How free are you when your government tells you to lock up? How free are you when your government tells you you can no longer worship God any way you please? How free are you when the government says you must shut down your own business? How free are you when the government tells you you must stay in your house? How free are you when the government tells you that you must wear a mask? You're not free, slaves. Fortunately, I've had the benefit of being biracial my entire life. My mom's Indian, so I know how both sides of the fence are. I know what the American government has done to my people, to my families, and I know how the government treats people today. Nothing has changed. Only the Americans' perception and only the Americans' tolerance has changed. They are more tolerant and they are more acceptable of the corruption that is in their face blatantly every day. You don't want to listen to the people that are telling you all this stuff is happening, but you're all over YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit, whatever other platform is out there, Patreon, trying to get all the information you can, and you get on here, well, I think most U.S. politicians are corrupt. They all are. They all have to keep it going. They all have to keep the ruse going. They all have to keep the smoke screen going. It's kind of funny how they allow all this stuff in schools to be taught to these children, but when you bring it in front of Congress, they tell you to stop. Don't read that book. But this is what's being read to kindergartners. Well, read that to kindergartners. Don't read it to us. America's not free. It never has been. It never has been. You guys can say it is in your little fairy tale of a world. You can all say that you're patriots. Is that a Jeep? Are you a Patriot Jeep or a Patriot missile? Because I have yet to see what a true patriot in America looks like. Am I putting anybody down? No. I'm not putting anybody down. But people have different definitions of what a patriot is. And if you want to say a patriot is a person that stands up for everybody in the country and does right, does this, and is all just, well, I have yet to see that person. Except for Edward Snowden. He's a patriot. I would consider him a patriot. This dude gave up everything in his life to help out the American people, and look what has happened to him. Look what the American people have done to him. Nothing. They haven't even helped him at all. Look what they've done for him. I mean, not necessarily to him, man. I mean, dude, America's keeping this guy ostracized just as much as the government is. There is no demand for Assange to be released. There is no demand for Snowden to be released. Everybody sits back. Oh, they're collecting my information. Oh, they're collecting my information. Wow. It's unreal that people actually give up a lot of stuff in their life to help other people out, and the other people are just so ignorant that they don't even want the help, but yet they continue to bitch about everything. That's America. That's the America I know. People actually go out of their way to help people. People refuse it and then bitch about it nonstop. That's America. Now I don't know, man. I've gone over some different things and some different videos over the years, and nobody seems to get it. Here we are 5 years later, still talking about the same damn thing, and nobody gets it. It's unreal. It's unreal. Well, I think most U.S. politicians are corrupt. They don't get it. The government was designed to become a dictatorship to destroy America, aka Mystery Babylon. Make sure you get your boosters, guys, because they're forcing it on you. Otherwise, you can't work. Yeah, well, wait till they come and implement the mark of the beast, where you can't buy, eat, or sell without the mark of the beast. And that's coming really soon, because everybody sat idly by waiting for it to happen before they did anything about it. And at that time, it's too late. It's kind of funny how I was telling everybody about COVID way back in 2018. It's kind of funny. Kinda. Nobody listened. Nobody.